Well, greetings. Brett Eastman here. Thanks for taking a minute to hear a little bit about what we're learning in churches around the country. More exponential churches. Those are seeing more innovation and creativity in order to accomplish the work of the ministry. It's interesting in churches across America. Attendance seems to be declining or flattening, even in many churches of growing sizes. And so there are some churches that are standing out above the crowd. And what and why they're doing what they're doing and how they're doing it is something that we're on a mission to help find out. And so I just got back from a five-state tour where I got a chance to be on 13 flights, and I was able to go to what was about a dozen different churches. And when I landed in Florida this last week in Orlando, I got a chance to go visit Don Cousins. Used to be the executive pastor at Willow Creek, my boss there. I served there, and he's at Discovery Church, and he was doing his small group launch. It was so much fun. I'll tell you a little bit more about what happened at Don's place in another one of these episodes. But it's our goal to be able to try to find out what God is doing and then bring them in little sound bites or tidbits to give you what are some of the master's class learnings that these churches are doing. I also in Orlando went with Justin Miller. I'll tell you a little bit more about him later. And Justin Miller is the senior pastor of Real Life Church and is a very young, edgy pastor that is growing like a weed. We're working with him for a year, helping to write a book with him and helping to develop multiple resources that are going to help connect their congregation, take them a little bit deeper. But I took a 2.5-hour drive to St. Petersburg, Florida, where I met with Bridgepoint Church with Pastor Tim Whipple. And Bridgepoint is one of the fastest growing churches this last year on Outreach Magazine's list. It has a Baptist roots. I was telling my wife that you'd never know walking in. It's just the energy and and just the life-giving nature of what God was doing at Tim's church is just unbelievable. And it was an old Lowe's, Lowe's hardware store or whatever those are. To see what he's done in just a short period of time, the church has got multiple campuses. They run their services on Sunday morning. They're thinking about adding a Monday night service, which is kind of interesting. Maybe a second on Sunday night. But it's fascinating to watch what God is doing. Several different things that they're doing that I feel like is really progressive. Number one is the way that they did the offering of all things. They encourage people to text to give, which some churches aren't doing that. They encourage people to be able to give online, gave the information up top, and they encourage people to give out on a kiosk, or they could give with a basket. But they did a little sermonizing before on kind of a biblical value of what giving is about and why we give during a time they were passing the baskets. A lot of churches aren't doing this. They're just saying, okay, pass the baskets. This is what we do. But there was a little bit in there. I really love that. The other thing that Tim did is to engage with people in ways that are super creative. So he was doing a series called Come Fly Away, and he had people write on a regular 8.5 by 11 piece of paper with a number 2 pencil, and he had them put it together and made it into a paper airplane, had them throw it up on the stage where he had a couple of trash cans, said, if you get it in there, you get a prize. But it was super creative. It felt like the Young Life Church is what I told him. The other thing that he did is he encouraged people to engage on Twitter and said, go ahead and like my Twitter and like the church's Twitter feeds so that you could hear what God is doing. We'll tell you more in the stories. And he did a lot on that one. He told me that he got 1,000, maybe 2,000 new followers. And he gave away a book. So he used kind of a giveaway, which was a book that he thought people should read about discipleship if they would follow him. I just love what he did there. The other thing they did is they give resources away. So they have books and T-shirts and hats and things. And he says it's free advertising all around the town. They make them super inexpensive in their bookstore. And that's kind of up where he meets them. And they give him a prize. Not a prize, but they give him a gift by coming to the church. And we're going to be writing a book called Daring to Be, a message that he did years ago that we're working with him. He's coming out to California, and we're going to put that book together, do a major church-wide campaign, and do a video series that is just going to be awesome. That's going to connect everybody into groups. But right now they're launching their kind of core curriculum class. That's another thing they're doing. Great promotion and how they're launching it. 4 sessions. You don't want to miss it. Kept the bar high for assimilation and kind of next steps. There's a number of things I just don't want to forget. that they did. On this particular day, they were doing a baptism Sunday, keeping the bar up for why that matters. The people wrote out their stories. They read their stories to the congregation. Everybody applauded. And it was kind of part of the worship service woven in. They think through everything. And it's really the timing and everything just leading people through. It's fun because the worship set was amazing. I found out his daughter was the worship leader. And she wasn't just the daughter of the pastor. She was amazing and just did a super job. I think that people like Tim and Amy and their leadership team, which we all went out to lunch. It was so much fun for me to hear his heart and to see what God is doing. I really believe the best is yet to come. They have a foundation that has already been going, and where they're going next is just super exciting. We're going to also develop what is a vision, mission, and value series. We do those for churches all the time. That's going to help to try to connect everybody, but have that conversation take people deeper and wider in order to help, move the ball down the road for the church. So Tim Whipple, yet again, a wonderful story of what God is doing out in Exponential churches. Look forward to being back with you next time.